Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News, a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, the first thing we have to talk about this week comes straight from the title and thumbnail of this video, in that Nick Bruce is no longer riding for Total BMX, and I'm putting it out there and speculating right now that it's going to be announced very soon that he's riding for DK Bicycles, and there's a couple reasons behind this, and I want to say I'm sorry if this is putting anything out there too soon, if I'm right, and it's spoiling anything, but there's a couple obvious things that point in that direction. The first of those being in Nick Bruce's post on Instagram saying that he was no longer riding for Total. It said, "After heavy contemplation, I decided I wanted to explore something new and closer to home." Well, Nick Bruce lives in Ohio, and you know what else is based in Ohio? DK Bicycles. Then there's also the fact that Marcus Christopher also lives in Ohio and already rides for DK. He also rides for Rockstar, so there's the fact that the collaboration between the two of those to promote two companies that they both ride for being made that much easier is also something that could lean there. But the main thing that makes me think is DK is the fact that Nick put in his Instagram stories first a picture of the frame, then a picture of his bike done, and there was blacked out areas on the frame and handlebars that are exactly where DK puts their stickers on their frame and handlebars. So the fact that DK is in Ohio, aka closer to home, and then the frame and handlebars that they make have decals exactly where Nick blacked out in his Instagram stories tells me that it's probably DK, and it only makes sense. With the Olympics coming up and Nick representing the US in the Olympics, it makes sense that he would want to represent someone in the US and then that much closer to home in Ohio versus Total being overseas. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and if you think DK is super obvious as well, there's a ton of comments that I've seen that also called out DK, so we will find out for sure very soon. If I'm wrong, I will say so and admit it in the future. So moving on from there, we got a couple other sponsorship things to talk about. First, Michael Mogajon now rides for Demolition. Makes a lot of sense there as well, being friends with Dennis Enerson and already riding for Haro with Dennis. Now riding for Demolition as well. Kind of just makes sense. Then we got Yame Sintez's Welcome to Primo video at just over 4 minutes long, so check that one out if you want to. And then we've got 15 Distribution. This is a new distribution company with Chris Reisenberger, Montana Ricky, Mike Brennan, and Sean Curran. All of these guys except Chris were with Merit. Now they're starting this distribution company, and Montana Ricky talked a little bit about it in the live stream that you can find in the videos on my channel from last week. But I feel like part of this quote from Chris sums it up pretty well for the information that is out there right now. It says, "The last year in the cycling industry was pretty crazy, and I think most of my friends that own shops are really considering their vendor partnerships and where they want to spend their dollars going forward. I always thought it sucked when work turned into work when it could be fun, and I think myself and Montana Ricky, being ex-shop owners, really understand it like nobody else could. We welcome all your ideas for us, and you will be heard. Together we can make this everything we think a vendor should be, with the brains of Sean and Mike and their insane work ethic. Together with Ricky and myself, we'd like to welcome you to be our partners in 15 Distribution." So there's not a ton out there about exactly what 15 Distribution is going to be and everything they're going to offer, but there is some background information out there, and all of these people are very reputable within the BMX industry. So I think that they have a very good chance at being successful, and from what I've heard, it sounds like they're trying to solve problems within the bicycle industry as a whole through this distribution, and I think it's exciting to see what they're going to do moving forward and trying to do things in a totally different way than what has been done previously. But after that, we had all of the Battle of the Brands challenge videos that came out this past week. Fourth was Eclat, third was Cinema, second was Odyssey, and first was Shadow. And these are all of the videos going through the challenges. And if you're not aware of Battle of the Brands or the challenges or anything like that, this is a competition where 4 different teams were handed like a challenge book. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt, but there's things that they have to actually do in there. And they had to do as many of them as they could in competition with each other. And this video is kind of like the documentation of those challenges. So all of these companies in that order, that's how they placed in the challenge points that they earned, with Shadow being first. And I'm going to be honest, Shadows was the only one that I watched, and it was fantastic. Over an hour and 15 minutes long, and it was all worth it, all easy to watch, and it felt good to watch as well. These guys did a really good job, and I'm sure that the other teams did good as well, but I didn't get a chance to watch theirs yet. But Shadows was fantastic. So many good moments in there, and I'm very much so looking forward to watching the riding edits, which are all going to be dropping June 28th, and I'll make sure that I watch all of them so I can report back to you guys on them. From there, there's a bunch of different videos that I thought were worth mentioning this week. First, we've got Alec Danaludi for Colony. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name, but it's him riding the Colony ramps. And if you haven't seen the Colony ramps, it is an amazing setup, and this dude shreds them. Then we got some behind the scenes from the filming of the Blow Up the Streets videos. First, we've got the one with Reed Stark, Denham Cox, and Curly Main, hanging out with those guys and kind of the behind the scenes of filming that video. Then we've got Weird and Revered, a low heat mixtape, a little bit longer of a video if you want to check that one out. Then we've got one from Merritt called Northern Dreams, followed by a couple different jam videos and contest videos to talk about this week. We had the Boozer Jam 2021 at Sheep Hills in California. That's one for all you trail guys out there. And we've got the Bethel Skate Park Jam 2021 for all you skate park people out there. Then we even have a Flatland one for you guys, the Ruhr Games 2021 Flatland Highlights. This one was actually a contest, so something for the trails, skate park, and Flatland people, all in contests and jams. That's pretty sweet. And then we had some product related things to talk about. First, a video from S&M in their Factory Fridays series called Steel is Real, and it's kind of just like a walkthrough with a camera showing what's going on in the building. And it is really cool to see this. You get an in-depth look at what's going on. There's not a ton of explanation in points, but there is some throughout. And I thought this was an awesome insight in looking at just what goes on at a BMX company frame part manufacturer. I thought that was really cool, and I think some other people might be intrigued by it. Then we've got Dan Conway's signature GT SMF bar promo video. This is a real quick one with Dan Conway absolutely shredding as he does. And then we had another promo, this time for Nathan Williams' signature Etnies colorway. This one is cool because it has a little bit of backstory from Nathan himself talking in the video while he's riding, while the B-roll of the shoes and stuff is showing, kind of talking about the choices behind things and just a little bit of backstory about the colorway itself, which I thought was neat, and I think you guys might think so as well. And that transitioned us perfectly into the interviews from this week. First is a video from Our BMX with Corey Martinez talking all about his Tacoma rig. It's this camper insert thing that goes in the back of his truck that he made himself, and he just talks all about it, the process of it, the things that go into it, and kind of gives us a tour around it and the features and all of the different aspects to it and how he does certain things while he's traveling with this thing. And I thought it was a really cool insight into it, and Corey explains things very well, and it's just really cool to see insight into the life of Corey and how he travels and how he utilizes this thing to travel the country, literally having a place to stay and not having to worry about where he's going to sleep in a hotel or what. And if anyone is a Corey Martinez fan, then this is a great thing to watch this week. Then we had a video with Augie from Fit. It's in their Augie Balance series. It's a new series from Fit where Augie is giving an inside look at how he finds the balance between riding BMX and shooting photos. And this is directly from the description. It says, dive into the streets of New York City with Austin Augie while he shoots for the most recent Dig BMX issue with New York's notorious AM/PM crew and films for a new Fit Bike Co video part. Hustling like this is no easy balance. And then from there, we had a video interview with Declan Brooks from Vital BMX talking about how he's going to be representing England in the Olympics next month, as well as a double flip crash that he had, working with Jamie Bestwick, the possibility of winning a gold mailbox, and a whole bunch more that I haven't had a chance to actually listen to yet. But all of these Vital BMX interviews with Olympic candidates have been fantastic so far, and I don't see this one being any different. So check that one out if you guys want to. But with that, I want to know what you guys think about Nick Bruce and the potential of him being on DK Bicycles. Let me know in the comments down below, or your thoughts on anything else that I talked about in today's news video. And if you're new here or you haven't yet, hopefully you'll hit the subscribe button while you're down there so we can see you tomorrow for another video. This one was a struggle. Thank you for watching it, and we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.